We hot, we live, we back. It's Tuesday.
Okay, that's your last day.
No.
That is your last time saying that.
Every good podcaster, every good radio host has a tagline. You just need to find yours. Okay. I found mine.
Okay. Do we get to vote or anything?
No.
Okay. I'll accept it, I guess.
Unless you want to suggest a new tagline.
Okay, I'll work on that.
Okay.
I think that's a good idea. I just feel like for an intro, it's
a little early for judgment, no?
It just feels a little redundant, We'll ask you guys, what do you think? Do you think Jack needs to work on that a little bit?
I can guarantee you when people hear this, they know who's talking. They know who's speaking.
That's for sure. Yes. How
Mission
are you
accomplished.
this morning?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I haven't had any of my coffee yet.
I'm actually disappointed we didn't know that the Met was going on yesterday.
I know.
Neither of us said anything about it.
We had no clue. I don't think we should be disappointed. I think we should be proud.
Why is that? Explain.
Because who cares, really? Sorry. But who really cares?
Well, I must care since I brought it up.
Like, it's fun.
I think the Mets lit. I honestly, that was like, I mean, Virgil Abloh went to the Met, so it's like I think he just had like a really dope fit a couple years back. So I don't know. I just always think, because I like it for the fashion sense. I don't like it for anything else. Sure. I just like it for being able to see the outfits in the themes.
Yeah.
I think it's super cool, and it's a pop culture moment,
For sure. Jack, we said this in the first episode, but he graduated in fashion and design, so you really enjoy looking at all those things, and I would consider myself just an all-around creative person, so I really enjoy looking at those things too. I just meant it from the sense of like, we're not gonna like stay up to see the Met. Like, it's fun to wake up and see it on our social media feeds and go, oh cool, let's look at the outfits, which I think we should do on the podcast, but beyond that, like, who cares?
I'm dead. I'm weak.
I don't know. Y'all tell me. I think it's fun, but I also think people in our culture like treat it as if it's everything. Right? I'm just on a different vibe today. Okay, so let me explain.
I see.
Yesterday, after the podcast, I did a bunch of meal prepping, and then I went to the gym, I went to the mall, I came home, and by the time you got home and I had like done all my chores and everything, I was exhausted. I don't know if it's just exhaustion that's like compiled over the last week or so, but I was so tired. And Jackie put on a movie. What was the movie called?
At first we started watching Death at a Funeral.
Right.
Fell asleep.
And I fell asleep. So I fell asleep at like 3-ish. 4?
Something around there, like around like close to 4, yeah.
And then I slept until 9 or so.
Yeah. Woke up. It was such a good sleep. You said I was grumpy toward you. I haven't even asked you about that. Yeah. You asked me why I kept moving away from you. Like, why you keep moving away? I keep trying to come lay by you. And I'm like, because I didn't want to wake you up, because I was going to be on the computer, and I was talking to Kat, and I was getting ready to fill out that application for the thing.
Is that what I sound like?
At the moment, yeah.
It's giving gremlin.
It's pretty close to that.
Wow. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't ever nap. I actually despise naps. Jackie's a big nap guy.
And used to be.
Yeah, why don't you nap anymore?
It's just the weird hours in the day, and I feel like I just with the podcast and everything else going on, it's like I feel like when I sleep, I feel like I'm losing time to do those things. So
yeah, I agree. That's how I typically feel. And his practices are different every single day. The time changes every single day. So we wake up and do this at a different time every single day. Now, I think we're going to stick with this. I like getting up at this time.
Yeah, it's a good time.
We get up at like 6:15, 6:30, and then start recording by 7:30. And it feels good because then we have plenty of time before he has to go to practice. But yesterday, I knocked out. And then I woke back up And
that's about to die, by the way. I don't know if you care or not.
It's okay. Woke back up. We'll look on your phone if we have to.
Okay, I was just going to say you close it if you want.
Okay. He's talking about his laptop. I have it open so we can look at Met Gala tings. So I woke back up and Jackie put on another movie. And sidebar, I did not grow up watching a lot of movies. I just didn't. We weren't a big movie family. And so Jackie was, and he has 1,000,001 movies that he'll reference and then go, oh my gosh, I can't believe you've never seen this, and blah, blah, blah. Y'all know the whole thing. If you're someone that hasn't seen a movie and then everyone sits there and talks about the movie. Or
anything, yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm trying to be a fantabulous wife.
Doing a great job.
And watch these movies that he likes to talk about and I have no clue about. So last night he puts on Evan Almighty.
Mm-hmm. Which is technically a sequel, and typically I wouldn't do that out of order, but I couldn't find the other one, and I wanted you to see. I felt like this was Steve Carell's a good.
Yeah.
You know, it was a good follow up.
It was so good.
I figured you'd like it.
No, you picked so well. So Fool's Gold the night before last Sunday night, then Monday night Evan Almighty, both 10 out of 10 for me. But I want to talk about Evan Almighty.
Okay, let's do it.
I have been sitting on this since we watched last night because I wanted to talk about it on the podcast.
Yeah, and just for reference, the people that haven't seen Evan Almighty, this is the sequel of Bruce Almighty. So Morgan Freeman is playing God, and Steve Carell is playing Jim Carrey's character. Anyways,
and I haven't seen Bruce Almighty.
Yeah, and I think you would love Bruce Almighty as well. Bruce Almighty's the classic.
Okay.
Evan Almighty is the follow-up, and so if you liked that, then you'll like, because it's the same concept.
I got you.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you what I liked about it.
Okay.
I liked that the overall messaging was, for me, this is based on how I feel like the Lord is speaking to me, okay? You may get a completely different interpretation from the movie. But I just took away from it, like, you can see God in everything if you choose to. And then also, I just saw the contrast of our world and our society. And, like, oh my gosh, that was messed up.
Yeah, I heard it.
Sorry. And how we get so caught up in our day-to-day and in our culture and our society, Met Gala, and that if God asks us to do something, even though it's God, even though it's the creator, even though it's our Father, we hesitate because we don't want to step outside of the bounds and the lines and the normality of our society. And how lame is that? You know, and I just loved seeing, like, the idea of God making such a hard contrast between the two. Like, hey, do it my way. I know that you're going to stand out. I know that people are going to think you're weird. I know that this doesn't look at all how you planned, but I promise you I'm doing it because I love you. Like, it honestly was so profound for me. And I know it's just supposed to be a funny movie, but It was so profound to me.
Yeah. I mean, no, it's a great movie. And I think that's the main takeaway. Like, that's what I think that they want you to take away from the movie, because it is about Evan Almighty's about Noah's Ark. It's about him obviously becoming Noah, in the sense of, you know, at the end of the thing, Morgan Freeman shows the 10 Commandments and what that looks like. So I think even for its time, because I think it came out in like mid 2000s, I want to say, something like that. So I think that was the main message, and like I said, the takeaway from it is exactly that. So I love that that's what you took away from it. It's a really cool movie, and like I said, we should watch Bruce Almighty now, because I definitely want to, because I think you'll even be more like, wow.
Yeah, it was a kick in the buttocks, to be honest with you. Like, even seeing him pull the Bible out of a box, he's like, I know we have to have a Bible. Oh my gosh, my brain goes to visions of The Chosen, where they're writing scripture, and how, like, just passionate and the sense of urgency and importance that they felt writing this, like, oh my gosh, we're getting to witness this and account for it, and we're giving this to people. People are going to have this knowledge, and we are searching in a box to just find, I think we have a Bible around here, like so nonchalantly, and forgetting the magnitude of the wisdom and the information and the stories and just the promises of God. Like it's huge. It's massive.
Yeah.
And so to see Evan Baxter have sign after sign after sign after sign pointing back to scripture, it just makes you realize how much God loves us, that he would chase us down. I know it's a movie, but he does this, you guys. Like, he chases us down so intentionally and makes things so clear sometimes, and we still nod him off.
Yeah.
Or like shrug him off.
Yeah, we do.
And it's crazy.
Really do.
And he's still pleased with us. He still loves us so much. Like, we can't change that. It's mind-boggling. Our human brain will never wrap around it. But it just makes me just want to say, God, what are you trying to tell me that I'm missing? What do you want me to read? What do you want me to see? You know?
Yeah. I mean, I think you've kind of, the movie in itself, I knew you were going to love the movie, and I'm glad that, like I said, that was the takeaway. It's just so
you didn't know all this was brewing in my brain.
I didn't because you hadn't shared it, so it's like I'm processing it as you are saying it now and going. I mean, because we even had the conversation last night, like, you know, if you were Evan Baxter, would that have, like, what would your initial reaction be? You're like, I just would have done it. I would have just, I would have. And I'm like, yes, but in that same breath, when you're saying that, I'm like, even in our daily lives, even though it is a movie, it's like, that is so hard, because you're like, okay, I want to go do this. This is what I feel called to do. God is putting something in front of me that seems very apparent that I should do. And I am having trouble deciphering between that. So think about that in the sense of trying to go to your family or your friends or whoever, and you're growing a long beard or you're growing your hair out, and you're trying to tell them this is because God told me to. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just it is a good lesson to just say, hey, just I always say it's my gut, but I know that my gut comes from God, and that he's sending. I think that's how he communicates with me.
You know? Nowhere.
Yeah.
Well, and on that,
so listen to that.
When you said the family and friends, like going to them and stuff, that was another point. His wife thought he was losing his mind, and we've all been there. But it really was such a lesson for me, even in that, to say, hey, if Jackie feels something strong in his spirit and is convicted so specifically on something, I want to be the wife that says, I trust that. I don't want to be the wife that doubts that. Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
I'm thinking about lumber being delivered to our house and me going, hey baby, I'm gonna go out in the backyard. I just purchased 8 acres over on the other side of the street, and I'm about to, and I didn't tell you about it, and God told me to do this, and I'm about to build an ark, and it's about to flood. And how that conversation's gonna go.
How do you think it would go?
I know exactly how the conversation would go.
How would it go?
I know exactly how the conversation would go. If I told you and I purchased 8 acres of land across the street and didn't tell you,
what would be the thing I would be most bothered by?
The fact that I didn't tell you, but God didn't want me to tell you.
When
he communicated, if God communicated with me that he didn't want me to share it with you.
But when in the movie did that happen?
He told him that.
He didn't.
He just did it. And so how was he supposed to explain to his wife? God purchased that land. He took it out the bank account.
Then that's what I would want you to come tell me. This is the thing.
If God goes and buys 8 acres of land and doesn't even tell, God didn't tell me he was going. He didn't tell Evan.
But here's the difference.
You know how that conversation's going to go.
Like radical things. So I would I would be more understanding if you came to me and said, hey, this, all these things have happened. God has audibly spoken to me. And this, baby, come on. You don't think that I would hear you out and believe you?
I think you would, but I'm talking about at that point in the movie, he didn't even have that information. He was still struggling to accept it.
He had spoken to God a million times. Birds were following him around, crapping on him. Like, he literally had the Genesis 14, this, that. I'm saying all the little things that we as the viewer saw, he should have said to his wife.
Then it wouldn't have been a movie.
Well, correct. But I'm saying...
all I'm saying is that at that point in the movie, when I walk into the house and the real estate agent shows up and says, hey, Evan, congrats on purchasing 8 more acres of land. And What are you doing? What are you saying?
You tell me.
I already know the answer to this question.
What?
After the fact, it would be okay a little bit longer down the line, like maybe a week after. Time, place, point, you would not be very happy.
My issue would be, you should have told me all that, because I tell you when I feel like God's doing stuff in my life, even the stuff that seems weird. I was going to tell you last night, I felt like he was loving on me by that nap, and that sounds weird, but
not at all.
But I don't take naps, and I think I was exhausted. I think I needed to, and usually when I wake up from naps, I'm very grumpy, foggy, groggy is what we say. Yeah. And yesterday I woke up and I felt so full of the Spirit. I'm telling you, I think the nap was like of him. I'm not even kidding. Yeah. And so things like that, yeah, they sound weird, but I think it's important to share with one another what God's doing in our lives so that it's not weird when we say, God told me to do this. God said this to me. God said that to me. If that's only comes off quote unquote weird because we don't speak like that in our culture. We don't use that language. That's why I think it's so important to use that language in your marriage, use that language in your family, use that language in your community, your friendships, because God is as real as my left arm. Like I'm just always unplugging.
Watch that hand, yeah.
But he created us. Like, how dare we undermine something that he might instruct us to do or say to us or whatever? You know what I mean? Like, that actually lights a fire under me. So if you feel like God's doing something in your life, not me bullying you right now, if you do feel that way, like, I would want you to tell me. And you do tell me.
Yeah.
So in the case of this movie... I think that's where he misstepped, because if she's a believer, if he's like, and you can feel it from your partner when they just want to buy land and they telling you God did it, or when they're genuinely just trying to like be faithful. You can sense that. You can tell the difference, I believe. Mm-hmm. And I think she, would have been more apt to stand by his side. Which she did anyways, because the Lord spoke to her. And that's the other thing. The whole time we're watching, I'm like, I know he's got to talk to her. I know he's going to say something to her. And I trust that in marriages, like the things that if God told me, hey, keep this to yourself, don't say this to your husband, I know that he would handle it with you.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Because
I know he wouldn't instruct me to keep something from you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think the other part of that message too, are that we're moving over to the other side of it where, well, I mean, I guess this is a conversation that this movie starts, but he ended up going back to his original job anyways, the job that he wanted. It was like, all right, go do this so that then you can go back to this and it was just the shift in mindset. And I think that was pretty profound of, you have to go do this first, what I'm telling you to do, because I know God knows what you want to do.
It's gonna make me cry.
And so it's like, you have to go build this ark, look like the crazy person, and do these things. Then I'm gonna send you back to be the politician, because then you're gonna have a different outlook and you're gonna be more profound. You're gonna be able to teach my message to everybody else.
To do it in a way that will truly change the world. Exactly. Since that was his mission.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna
cry.
And
the ark was in Washington D.C. at the Lincoln Memorial. Did you notice that? Or it was the White House, but the Washington Monument was right there. So
I don't know monuments. Sorry.
It was in front of the Washington Monument, but I'm just trying to say the Ark was on Capitol Hill.
Yeah. No, that's so crazy. Good, babe.
Yeah.
That's such a good thought. And I feel that in my life.
Which I struggle with, but I know you feel that pull and tug on a daily basis as well.
Yeah. I mean, starting in my career and the choices I've made in the last 2 years to step away and get married and focus on my marriage, become a stepmother, move to a different country, they were so not a part of my plan, but in a way they were.
Yeah.
But in a way they were. God has always known my dream of being a wife and a mother, and he's always known my dream of having that paired with the dreams of what I want to do in my career. And I just feel like I don't know, like I've had my moments where I've struggled with, am I ever going to go back to singing? Am I ever going to go back to writing? Am I ever going to go back to acting? To all these things that I've worked tirelessly on my whole life and now are not really a part of my life at this very moment. And I just constantly feel this like peace knowing that like he still sees those dreams, but this detour was vital for my heart, vital for my spirit, vital for my other dreams, and vital for my career in the future. And now my dreams have morphed to like, I can't wait to have my kids running around on stage with me, which I've always had that vision. But at the time I was so far from marriage and having kids that was like, okay, I'll get there one day. Well, no, now I'm like getting there one day. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like it took some really uncomfortable moves, but he has like radically changed my heart. And it's just so cool. He's so stinking cool.
He is.
We can talk about this all day. But I wanted to read this because this was in my devotional this morning, and we talked yesterday about speaking over our lives. And it's just this little excerpt because this was literally from this morning, and I wanted to read it. It's talking about scripture from Isaiah 61 to 62, and I'll just read Isaiah 62:4 really quick. You shall no longer be termed forsaken, nor shall your land anymore be termed desolate, but you shall be called, I can't say that, Hephzibah, and your land, don't look at my notes, and your land Beulah, for the Lord delights in you, and your land shall be married. And the little excerpt where it's talking about it says, God's people have been, oh my gosh, I'm snotting, 1 second. God's people had been in exile for years. He looked at Israel and declared that they would have a new name. He said that their name would mean that he delighted in his people. He would unite with his people as a bridegroom chooses to unite with his bride. What name have you been going by for far too long? Do you, like Israel, feel forsaken, desolate? Do you feel unworthy? Have you been labeled by yourself or others as a failure? What name do you need to exchange for a new name today? God does not call you these names. God takes great delight in you. He created you and he longs to enjoy fellowship with you. You are his daughter. You are, as a believer, given a new name. Refuse to cling to the past. Open your eyes to the bright future he has in store for you. I just felt like that.
I love that.
That went with what we said yesterday.
It is what we want. It
does go with
what we said yesterday. And you want to know something crazy? My devotional was actually very similar.
Stop it.
To that. Yeah. I'll share it with you really quick.
Okay, share it with us. I would love that. While you find, you got it?
I already got it pulled up.
Okay, go.
It's a little long, but it's called Fishing Lessons, which I thought was interesting. But it says, stay away from the believers who live idle lives and don't follow the tradition they received from us. It says, for you know that you ought to, what does that say? Ought to imitate us. We worked hard day and night, so we would not be burdened to any of you. We wanted to give you an example to follow. 2 Thessalonians 3:6-9. It's like broken up weird. And then it says, this is a tough subject in any setting. It says, the reasons are many, not the least of which are the people tend to make political hay when the discussion of how much and how long and whom to give arises. But the reality is, when people are continually given things, they tend to lose sense of personal responsibility for their lives. And it says, I think it goes beyond the political realm to social as well. It says whether people perform deeds poorly or well, it says how we impact those around us is just as important as the act itself in most instances. It says, and how we view them as objects of our largest of friends in need is also important in how they view themselves while they're and when we leave. It says certainly after a natural disaster, people's immediate concern is where the next meal is coming from. That's clear. But is providing food the best and most complete resolution? Once the crisis situation is past, we must be focused on allowing people to maintain dignity and helping them to grow their sense of accountability and self-worth. It's difference between giving a man a fish and teaching him to fish. It's how we would help our friends. That's part of it says what I respect about World Vision. It says it is an enormous organization providing humanitarian, and it just goes on to say pretty much like if you're, giving somebody help and you're, teach it. What's the quote? It says teach a man to fish, or sorry, give a man a fish, he can eat for a week. Teach a man to fish, he can eat for a lifetime.
Yeah.
So, that kind of falls hand in hand.
Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Of course. I a little stumbled over my words at the start, but...
No, it's okay. I did too. I couldn't say like 6 of the words.
My eyes are moving faster, or my brain is moving faster than my eyes sometimes.
Can I have a kiss? Thank you.
Of course.
I love you.
I bang my head up against the thing.
No, I love that. And I just love... I was saying this other day to a girlfriend because I posted something on my story, and she had about God and what he was doing for me that day. And she had replied and said, wow, I needed this. I feel like he did this in the last 12 hours, whatever, in my life. And I said, I heard this somewhere about him echoing. I might have said this other day on the podcast. I don't know. I'm always going to overlap because that's what I do. But that he echoes to us, like his spirit echoes, and there's sometimes you can find those themes amongst the people that you do life with, that they'll be like, oh my gosh, he's doing something very similar and saying something very similar to me, but it's just spoken in a different way or shown in a different way that pertains to their form of speaking with him or their life at the time. So it's just really cool. I just really like when he does that because it connects us, and that's what he wants. He wants us all connected to really him.
Does. Yeah, it is. It's always cool to see his hands.
Yeah, and even watching Evan Almighty last night. That's back to my first thing was, you can choose to see God in everything. Obviously, that movie is literally about God, but you can take it and apply it to your life and whatnot, or you can just see it, like just waking up this morning. It's just so beautiful, and I'm like, that is. We're not deserving of that. Like we think in our minds like, oh, could it just, be beautiful out? Like it's supposed to be. No, that's a gift, man. Like it's so cool. It's so cool.
It is so cool.
So I wanted to just say that. Thank you for letting me ramble.
Definitely. And I was going to say, it's not the first references here we've had to Noah's Ark either. Do you remember the second reference?
No.
Christian.
Oh yeah.
Living in Armenia.
Well, yeah.
And him being right across the way, and Noah's Ark was on top of that mountain. That's where it was propped.
Yeah,
when the world flooded.
Ooh, I might be wrong, but I think it was that Turkey and Armenia are kind of like tiffing over whose mountain it is.
Yep.
And apparently this mountain is the mountain that Noah's Ark landed on, or like was perched on when the water receded. So it's a very important mountain, and Armenia is really proud of it.
Yep.
And so they're claiming it, and Turkey's claiming it, and it's always about religious stuff. I mean, like using religious, but
yeah,
it's wild.
It is wild.
Should we talk about the Met Gala or Vanderpump? Which one do you want to go first?
Let's do the Met. Let's finish on, or actually let's do Vanderpump and end on the Met.
Okay.
How about that?
First thoughts about Vanderpump. Go. This is from last week's episode.
Yeah, and I saw a clip. I saw a clip of this week's episode because they had just posted it on that account that I follow. I was
really
about. Yeah. And they were just lying through their teeth the entire time, and like Ariana was pretty much on board with like, oh yeah, that's normal. Oh yeah, why would you sleep on the couch? You could sleep in the guest room. I mean, like I said, is the worst thing is to be around a couple or be around somebody that you know something foul is going on, and then having to sit there and having to like see them turn themselves into a fool. Like it's just an awful feeling. So.
And she's trying to be
cool about the situation because that's like her personality. You can tell it's her personality, and she's trying to be cool because she obviously trusts her husband. Which boyfriend? Why wouldn't she? And yeah, it just is like now it's spiraling.
It's heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking. But this past episode, James' one-liners to me are like up there with Lisa Barlow.
Really?
Oh, his one line, because it's like he thinks that what he's saying is like, he's like, yeah, man, you're gonna see when I'm playing at Cascade millions of people, man, and on Instagram and I'm posting it, man, it's gonna be awesome. And it's like, bro,
just wait till you see the crowd I'm playing in front of.
Just wait till you see the crowd I'm playing in front of, man.
No, it's actually heartbreaking.
It is, yeah.
It's hilarious, again, from an entertainment standpoint, but it's heartbreaking because that's his value.
Yeah,
that's where he.
I was just about to say that.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I stole your tagline.
No, you didn't at all. It's just the episode itself was great. There was a lot to unpack and a lot to take away from it. I'm trying to think of, because we watched it 2 days ago, I'm trying to think
Tom
of
Schwartz comment.
Tom Schwartz
bad joke quote.
The bad joke quote, where he asked, if you obviously watch Vanderpump, you know what we're referencing, but he made the comment that James is going to go play at some festival, and he asked if it was going to be as big or better than Rochella, which is the engagement party he threw for his ex-fiance Raquel, who is now involved in this massive scandal with Tom Sandoval.
It was his engagement to Raquel.
It was his engagement. And my opinion of the situation was, because at this moment, I'm only speaking from what we know is going on in the show. The joke to me was funny.
Ooh.
In the sense that I don't believe that he is even smart enough to I think he only said it in a way to try and lighten the mood. I don't think he said it in a way to try and hurt James's feelings. And I think that there's so much going on with the entire friend group, and it's like conversations that are being had that it's like they only zone in and hone in on certain conversations.
Yeah. That
they deem improper. And I heard your side of it, and you can say it, which I did also agree with. I just think that him throwing a drink in his face and like lashing out, it's like I think he still maybe has feelings for Raquel as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just those are my feelings towards it. Poor form and poor timing.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to see it from your side. It's just really hard, to be honest.
From what standpoint, though?
I just think that it was messy. I think that...
But they had already kissed. They knew that.
Well, let me get to it.
Okay.
I think that Tom Schwartz is just acting out, and it's not okay. So if we're going to get mad at James, which I feel like obviously it's not okay that he threw a drink in his face, but we should also acknowledge that like Schwartz's behavior is not okay either. Just because he's not throwing a drink and like flipping a table, it's not okay that he went and kissed one of his good friend's ex-fiance, and the one girl, his soon-to-be ex-wife, asked him not to kiss. Like, the disrespect and the lack of self-awareness is just on another level, and I feel like he thinks he's justified in everything. And then I'm bummed that James chose to react that way, because it's just frustrating, because I'm like, he's automatically gonna be the bad guy when he does that, whereas like he could have let it be about what it was about, which was the poor form comment, but instead it became quickly about his reaction. And and
like I said, is I can see why, I can understand in because I think he felt justified as well throwing the drink, but it's like, then if we just rewind it just even a couple minutes prior to that, when they were talking about setting up the beach day, why would I would love to know his girlfriend's reaction to him and Lala sitting there, him talking about their rendezvous in the past, and him not even initiate it, her initiate it, and it be okay. And it's like, you've seen in the past that she was like, when she was having that conversation with Katie, she automatically just backed up because like, I'm the new girl, I shouldn't be saying anything, and she doubled back. So it's like, I want to know if she had an issue with that, because like, if it's not okay for, like I said, the standard of that group, I don't believe is very high in the sense of the jokes and the things that they say, right? So if knowing that, it's like, then we should have the same thing for Lala, and James' girlfriend should be justified for throwing a drink in her face, because it's like, I don't know anybody that would be okay with that and having that conversation.
No, I think James' new girlfriend is like, honestly, acting as a saint. Like, she's handling a lot.
But I don't think she knows that conversation happened.
Yeah, I don't know. But honestly, there's so much messed up ish going on that it's hard to even focus on one thing. Like, we have Tom and Katie, who are in the middle of a divorce, sitting at a picnic. We have James and Raquel, ex-fiancés, sitting at the picnic. Schwartz and Raquel just hooked up. James has his new girlfriend there. Katie has her new boyfriend there. We have Lala, who's hooked up with James there. We have Sandoval, who's been hooking up with Raquel there. Like, it is just a hot, disgusting mess.
And that's what I'm saying is that all of y'all got something that has overlapped. Even Sheena has had stuff that's overlapped. And that's my whole thing is, I'm like, yo, I understand at the time and place, point blank period. Okay, that joke, I can see how it would be deemed not funny. Do I think that it should have been taken to the point where it spills over into the bar and they're still getting upset and angry, and then Tom ends up yelling at Katie and so on and so forth? It's like, yo.
And Lala. But what?
At this point, y'all need a whole new friend group. Throw the whole friend group away.
No, for sure.
Ball it up, throw it in the trash can, Kobe, and let's get a new show. I
agree.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the peak of the show, and I honestly think the best thing they could do is just walk away after the season.
100%. I think you go out on a high note. I think this is Jersey Shore right after they went to Italy, coming back.
I don't remember.
When the situation had the neck brace on, and Sammy and Ronnie have been getting in a whole fight and that whole thing, and then they came back to the Shore house, and then it was like they had visited Vinny's family, all that stuff. That was like top. Yeah. Anyways,
well, they're kind of annoying me. They're all almost 40 and still acting like this. So I'm obviously still watching because I've been invested for the last decade, and no hate to them. It's
TV at the end of the day.
Yeah,
it's TV.
It's just, we gotta grow out of some things. I feel like every time I watch them, it's like, bro. But overall, for the storyline, they're continuing to let on more and more and more about Sandoval and Raquel. So I'm sure this week will be even more turned up on that. I mean, but and the cast members are starting to get clued in. They're like, okay, something's weird. Well,
and this is the thing, is this is probably like the first time in television history that you're able to like follow along to something and have the timeline, thanks to social media, prior to episodes coming out. So then when the episodes are coming out and they're saying that these are unedited, you're seeing these people lie, and like how someone can just lie on television. And if we didn't have social media, we didn't have these things, like, he probably would have got away with it. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So it's like, but to see him sit there and just lie is just like, and squirm is just crazy to me, because it's just like, you can just tell.
I feel bad for Ariana, but at the same time, I think this is the best thing that's ever going to happen to her.
Well, they're about to trying to have kids together. Like
so
that.
This is protection.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Shout out Ariana.
All right, let's look at the Met. Wanna?
The computer's probably dead.
Nope. It's not. Off the dome, from what you've seen. What are you thinking?
I saw I saw ASAP Rocky jump out the crowd.
Oh, sorry.
We could have used my phone.
He jumped out of the crowd.
Yeah, ASAP Rocky jumped out of the crowd and onto the Met red carpet.
Oh my god.
He knocked some girls' glasses off.
What?
Yeah, he like did like a surprise
entrance
reveal entrance. Yeah.
Okay, so the Met Gala theme this year was Karl Lagerfeld, a line of beauty. And so we've seen...
I don't want to be that guy, but it's Lagerfeld.
Oh, shoot.
I just know that people
Really? Lagerfeld? Lagerfeld?
Karl Lagerfeld.
I'm sorry.
It's all good. R.I.P., but people probably will say, it's Lagerfeld. Anyways.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Is that Rihanna and A$AP Rocky?
Yes.
That's fire.
So... I'm actually going to do a better job at editing this on YouTube. So if you're watching, I'm going to put their images up here so we can actually see.
Do you want me to go get the charger? It's going to die any second.
No, it's not. It's on 7%. We can get through this, I think. Okay, so we're looking at the best dress. So we're going to be through it quick. So right now we're looking at Rihanna and A$AP Rocky. What do you think?
10 out of 10. Easy. It's an easy 10 out of 10. That's something I wear.
Okay.
I take it by your reaction. You don't think that.
No, I'm just, it's fine. Like, yeah, I think they look good.
I think that's fine. I'm just
so, like, indifferent
I love the kilt with the jeans. And does he have, what type of shoes does he have on?
Isn't that what Karl would have worn?
100%. And
so,
he's got the jacket with the skinny tie. I mean, yeah.
I just think Rihanna can do no wrong fashion-wise, so I'm obviously going to give it a 10 out of 10. All right, next we have Billie Eilish. Yeah. It's not my vibe.
Yeah, it's very Karl Lagerfeld, but yeah, I'm giving it probably like 6 out of 10.
She looks beautiful. I'm just bored.
She looks like Wednesday from Addams Family.
Yeah. Who is this?
FKA Twigs.
Okay. Yeah, no. I don't want this.
Yeah. Not a fan.
Oh, this is pretty. Who is this?
Olivia Munn.
I'm glad you're here because I don't know who anyone is.
Is that Olivia?
She looks pretty. Yeah. It's just, to me, too understated for the Met. That is... oh, no, that was Olivia Wilde.
Babe. Olivia Wilde. Sorry. Olivia Wilde.
This is Kate and Lila Moss.
Yep, that's Johnny Depp's daughter.
They look pretty. I'm still just bored.
They're really pretty. That's a 8 out of 10 for me.
Princess Diaries, Anne Hathaway in Versace. I mean, it's more interesting. It's more artistic. I think she looks pretty. It's an 8 for me.
Yeah, she does look really pretty.
This is my favorite.
What?
Dua Lipa in Chanel. Lipa. She looks, I mean, think about it. This is my dream dress. Like, when I think about being a 17-year-old queen of a Spanish island, this is what I'm frolicking around in. I'm obsessed with it.
I'm going to have to disagree, but okay.
I'm obsessed, Dua Lipa.
The necklace is cool, but that's about it.
I love it. We have Phoebe Bridgers and Tory Burch.
Honestly, you know how I know Billie Eilish look like? She look like Bellatrix Lestrange from Harry Potter.
What do you think about Phoebe?
I'm not a fan.
I don't like it either. Ooh,
that's fire.
Penelope Cruz and Chanel. I don't know. It's giving wedding dress for me. She looks stunning, but it's too wedding.
You gotta remember the theme though.
Karl. I'm afraid to say the last name. Nicole Kidman and Chanel. It's pretty.
Nicole Kidman's always stunning.
I'm not impressed, bunnies. So I just passed up Giselle. Margot Robbie is pretty. Everyone just is pretty. They're missing the artistic thing. This is way more artistic.
I think you're being really harsh. Really harsh.
I just think like they're dressed like a normal red carpet, and I feel like the Met's always shock value. That's why Rihanna's is cool to me.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like
I just think like not everyone can, like Margot Robbie can't pull off Rihanna looks though.
Who says? To me, that's... Oh, sorry. Okay, we have... Is that Usher?
Mm-hmm.
We have Usher. I like his shoes.
Yeah.
It's so hard for guys. Like, what are they supposed to wear?
Yeah, that's actually pretty dope. That's why I said, like, nice. I do like A$AP Rockies.
Karl Cara Delevingne and Carl. She looks nice.
So that was
boring to me. That's not boring to you?
No, I don't. I mean, yeah, that one's not my favorite.
I'm skipping that one. Who we got? I mean, I know we saw the Kardashians on. Oh, Gigi. I love Gigi's. That's pretty to me.
Yeah, I like the glow. I like the. I mean, I'm trying to look at the.
Ooh, this is nice.
Yeah, that's actually a really good take.
How do you say his name?
Lagerfeld.
No, Taika.
Yeah, he's some famous actor. He was in he's in the Marvel movies.
He looks very nice. Very, very nice. All right. Let's see.
Weak.
Oh, I like his. Tyler Mitchell.
Look like Michael Jackson.
He looks nice. Where are the Kardashians?
You know they put him at the bottom.
I really liked Kim's look.
I mean, isn't that the look that she did for I feel like she's done this before. Anyways.
Are you thinking the Marilyn Monroe one? Or are you thinking the wet one?
I don't know. I can't. Maybe the wet one is what I'm thinking.
Or there's like a famous photo shoot, I think, where she's wearing pearls.
Yeah, I feel like she always wears like that exact same
silhouette,
color, silhouette, everything. It's like she never changes it up.
Mm.
Is that Naomi Campbell?
No,
Gotta
Jeremy
be.
Pope.
Oh.
Ooh, this is interesting. I like this. Olivia Rodrigo. She looks fab. Okay, this is probably boring podcast version because y'all can't see it, but if you're watching on YouTube, you can see it.
Stormzy's, go up. We skipped a good one. Yeah, it's dope.
Yeah, he looks nice. Oh, I like this too. Daisy Edgar Jones and Gucci. She looks so good. So basically, they're making it seem like Rihanna won the Met.
Yeah, I mean, she did.
Stop. Camila Morone. I just love her. She looks beautiful. All right. That's enough for an audio show.
Yeah, I love it.
But
it was dope. Shout out to the Met. Shout out to all the looks.
Shout out to the Met in case you're listening. And
I won't be invited next year.
Yeah, we sound like haters sitting here in our Walmart t-shirt and pants. We know
I don't sound like a hater.
Okay, well, I guess I sound like a hater. I know that it takes so much work and effort doing all that, but I'm not judging the person. I'm just looking at the looks to see my taste. How it applies.
What would you have worn?
I don't know.
Karl Lagerfeld. Give it in 2 seconds. I can give you mine.
It would depend on the designer I go with, but give me yours.
I'd probably would go. Was between two. I'd probably have to go Dior, and I'd probably would have to go like something like super baggy, and I would have went like I would have did like a off. I would have done like a black, and did like some sort of like with like a chrome like metal detailing down the sides of the pants, and the jackets like similar. It's like a combination of two of those, and it's like I've got to see them, so I got to kind of build my idea off of that. So
maybe sketch it up.
Maybe
you could go next year.
Maybe
I would have loved to have done Chanel. I think like Dua Lipa went with Chanel. I loved her dress, but then also after Sophia Richie just got married and her dresses were all done by Chanel. I'm just
she had the
very into it. The tweed.
I saw she had the classic. She was wearing Chanel, the pink. You saw the pink Chanel she was wearing.
Of course, I saw it.
Yeah,
she looked unreal. Her whole wedding week.
Who'd she get married to?
Elliot Grange.
Who's that?
I think he's a Brit. I guess his dad is like a high up in the music industry. So his dad and Lionel Richie have been friends for like years. So the kids have known each other since they were kids.
Gotcha.
And then they got married.
Crazy.
It's pretty cool.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, congratulations, Sophie and Elliot. I'm keeping up with their honeymoon on TikTok. It's really the light of my days.
That's dope.
Yeah, no, for sure. Thank you guys for listening. Yes. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
And we'll see y'all tomorrow morning.
We out.
God bless you.
Bye.